Following our time in the Cordillera Blanca, it's time to go explore Peru's darker side, the Cordillera Negra, a stretch of mountains just south of the Huascarán National Park. This place is packed with adventure, high elevation mountain passes, and unknowns. We're about to put our heavy and underpowered home on wheels to the ultimate test, so buckle up and let's roam. Some roads don't simply exist on a map. They live in your mind, calling to you in your sleep, filling your thoughts at work. The Pan American Highway, a road spanning the length of North and South America, a 30,000-kilometer road trip through more than 15 countries, is that road for us. Life to us is nothing more than a collection of moments, and we want to fill our moments with adventure. So for 18 months, we'll be driving south from Tuctayacta, Canada, all the way to Ushuaia, Argentina. From the Arctic to the Andes, through deserts, jungles, and the unknown, we'll live and wander in our self-built adventure mobile, seeking stories, chasing landscapes, and redefining what it means to us to be modern-day explorers. This is our journey. After a week spent in the Cordillera Blanca, it is time to head further south in search of new vistas, the next step in our unwavering pursuit of south. We've chosen a winding route that takes us through the Cordillera Negra and will eventually deposit us near the seaside desert of Paracas National Reserve. We expect to drive the distance, about 1,000 kilometers, in roughly 5 to 7 days. But if there's anything that we have learned from our time driving through Peru, this country has many twists and turns in store for every traveler that roams within its borders. We're heading east, following the AN 1251 towards the Pastoruri Glacier. From there, we'll continue east until once again meeting the 3N and following it southward into Huayhuash National Park. As always, we're entering into an area that seems to be less documented by the majority of other travelers to this region, so we're not really certain of what we'll encounter.
This isn't planet Earth anymore. What?
Puya Raimundi.
Raimundi trees.
Puya Raimundi.
So cool. It's so cool. I don't want to get near it though.
This could do some serious damage.
Yeah. Well, should we get to camp?
Yeah, let's go to camp. Get cozy.
Get cozy, drink some tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I commented to Meg that this region of Peru feels like a realm unto itself, a place with its own pulse, its own silent language. The mountains here are different. Their murmurs carry secrets older than memory, and their shape, sharp, heavy, and sacred, press themselves into the corners of your mind. To be here is to listen, to feel. If you forget to notice where you stand, the mountains will remind you with every breath. The air here is thin, reluctant to fill your lungs, leaving your body to labor for what little it can claim. Up here, where the peaks brush the edge of the troposphere, every aspect of the world around you stands as a challenge.
This morning we have a friend.
I think he slept here.
Hello, friend.
¿Cómo se llama?
So we think this is a little farm dog from one of the neighboring huts that we passed on the way here, but he or she is very, very cute. Hey? Yeah, you are so cute. Oh, you're adorable. We could take you home, but we're not going to.
You're a sucker. Why are you such a sucker?
I am, I know.
I'm supposed to be the sucker.
But this one, she's so cute. Yeah. Well, where are we headed to today, my love?
We're headed to the Pastoruri Glacier. I think that's how you say it.
Right on.
And then we're gonna do a gravel route through the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be totally awesome. And it's
Totally
freezing.
Yeah, it's cold.
We're gonna be
Cold.
driving Betty to the highest she's ever driven today.
4850.
I think it feels like we say that every day, but
Yeah.
it's because it's true.
The drive up here yesterday, the van was just feeling like we were driving around a slug. Like, it's just so slow. And we're still below, you know, like the highest elevation that we've ever been with the van. But yeah, it was really feeling super sluggish. And I have a theory. It's probably not very well founded, but I think the air is thinner in different places, because sometimes the van feels like it has lots of power at elevation, and then in other spots it just feels like it can't go anywhere. So we'll see how she makes out at 4,850 meters today in this area.
Like this.
Is that yummy, little guy? Yeah. Get some dog chow in the morning.
Well, we're going to share a funny moment with you guys. we're just parked here at the Pastoruri Glacier parking lot, and we are looking at some maps, kind of looking ahead at what we were going to be doing over the next few days. And then I got a message from my dad saying, "Happy anniversary." We've been married for a year.
Woohoo! We made it.
So, yeah, we got married right before we left.
Right before we left Canada.
Right before we left Canada. Yeah. So, yeah, we've definitely at this point been on this trip for a year, although we left for
The
north
in June
of 2024. So, we've been at it a while. So, I guess we're going to have to celebrate somehow today. Maybe go see a glacier.
Every day is a celebration on the Pan Am.
Woo! So the key here is to arrive early, as you can imagine, because by mid-morning all the tour buses and people start arriving, and we're here at like 8:30, 9-ish,
9, yeah.
and there's no one here. So
Yeah.
get the whole place to ourselves. The Pastoruri Glacier, nestled in Peru's Cordillera Blanca within Huascarán National Park, once stood as one of the most accessible glaciers in the Andes. Sitting at over 5,200 meters above sea level, it was long a favorite for climbers and travelers seeking the high alpine world of ice and stone. Today, Pastoruri has become a symbol of climate change, its mass shrinking rapidly over the past decades. What was once a destination for ice climbing is now part of Peru's route of climate change, where visitors come not only to witness its fading beauty, but also to understand the fragility of these high mountain environments. Much like the glacier in Alaska where we got engaged, this massive sheet of ice is only a shadow of its former glory, experiencing the same fate as many of the glaciers in the north. My goodness. Like, it's just everywhere you look is spectacular. Spectacular! Well, done the hike, on to the next thing, which is driving to the very highest height that Betty has ever driven. Which I think we're already there. Yeah, we're at 4842 or 4850 right now. And we have further to go that way, up and over the pass. And who knows, maybe it'll be 49 or more, which is crazy. That's a lot. That's very, very high. Let's go.
Absolutely no chance. Hi, sheepies!
Many of you know that our close friends Matthew and Stacy of Toward World Runners passed away in an off-road accident a few months ago. As we've been following segments of their route while we make our own trip down the Pan American Highway, we've taken it upon ourselves to help preserve their memory by commemorating them whenever we can. In their film in which they followed this same road, there was a shot that when I saw it for the first time, I immediately wanted to recreate it. But after realizing just how big Peru is, I lost hope that I would ever find the same place. Until today. So it is with great honor and happiness in our hearts that we get to stand in a special place and remember our friends and how they so deeply impacted us. We love you, Matt and Stacy. Long live TWR. Here, we're gonna drive that road all the way around and down over the side. To be in a place like this makes our hearts swell with gratitude. We are acutely aware of how blessed we are to wander through landscapes like this and grateful that our job is to share it with you. And it isn't lost on us that without every one of you, this wouldn't be a reality for us. So thank you to each and every one of you watching right now for supporting us, following along, and believing our dream to drive the Pan American Highway. Before completing the descent to the 3N though, we found a spot along the road with a 180-degree view of the mountains and simply could not say no. Our spot for the night would wind up being the highest we'd ever camped, but it was well worth the struggle. Although we'd love to linger in these mountains for far longer, taking a far slower approach, high elevation is really something that starts to permeate your day-to-day life, and after sleeping for days above 4,000 meters, you're simply exhausted from night after night of light and restless sleep.
Okay, so for all of those that are invested in my baking at elevation journey, I'm trying again. I'm making a coffee cake, carrot cake. So it's carrot cake on the bottom with like a really thick crumb coating on the top. And I used AI this time, and I told it what elevation we're at, which is like just shy of 5,000 meters. And I asked it to adjust the original recipe for me. So stay tuned.
While waiting for a cake to bake, we stepped outside for a moment and watched the world go by. Clouds slowly crept through the sawtooth peaks. Rays of late afternoon sun danced in the open air between palisades of rock and stone, and distant mountain layers teased of different walks of life miles away from where we stood. As we've often marveled before, places like this exist in spite of us. Our paths through these ancient places are but fleeting blips in the expanse of time. These mountainscapes have existed long before us and will remain long after us. That to us is really impressive, awe-inspiring, and humbling. And I think that's kind of why we're here.
You cutting the cake?
I'm cutting the cake. We're gonna see what's going on in here.
Okay, 1 second.
Looks pretty good to me. Cake, crumb coating, or whatever it's called, streusel top.
Streusel top?
Shall we have a taste? I think this one's worked out pretty nice.
Nice. So, AI buddy decided to
Come through.
do you one good.
Would you
Nice.
like to try it?
Yes, of course.
Oh, that is a big bite.
I really like the crumbly top. It's like a little bit crunchy, and then inside is like so moist and delicious and yummy. Yes. Very nice.
Well, it is Sunday, and sleeping just under 4,800 meters resulted in a pretty fitful sleep for both of us. We're not really feeling super rested. So yeah, just kind of what comes with sleeping at high elevation. And in the spirit of getting to Paracas by next weekend, we've got a drive day ahead of us. We need to kind of stay moving, and we're not really sure if it's going to be like good road or if it's going to be very much not good road like much of the 3N. So yeah, we're going to get after it. We've got 4 or 5 hours at minimum to drive today. Alright, well, at least for now, this is the highest we've ever driven Betty. And this is what it looks like. It's about 4,900 meters. I don't think this place is even real. We're just in a freaking dream.
As far as places to air up tires goes, this was pretty darn scenic. However, as things seem to often go for us, this would be the last time we'd air up tires to drive smooth tarmac for a very long time. A mere 40 kilometers later, we turned off of the pavement and found ourselves on potholed, rocky, and slow gravel roads once again. From here, we'd remain on gravel for another 2 days as we weaved our way through the mountains. And please don't misunderstand us. This is by no means a complaint. We'd have it no other way. Slow travel, as our name implies, is the way we like it. It wasn't long before we were catching glimpses of the Huayhuash mountains from our windshield. Though we were making our way very slowly through the foothills, we'd be back in big mountain country quite soon. Then, finally, after hours of rough road, we turned a corner and camp for the night came into view. And tonight, our eyes would feast on the spoils of our determination to reach this spot.
Well, hun, our supposedly 4.5 hour day turned into 7 hours and 13 minutes. Nice. Well, it may be roadside, but this is camp for the night, and I'm not complaining. This is pretty incredible.
It would seem in this part of Peru that around every bend and over every crest there is something hiding, ready to steal our breath away. If it's not a towering snow-covered peak, it's the still reflection of a peaceful mountain valley on a windless morning. We keep asking ourselves if it's real, if our eyes are playing tricks on us. But no, it is real. It's here, and it's even more awe-inspiring than what you see on your screen right now.
you're filming?
Yeah.
All right, so today we're getting a super early start. It is 8:15. I'd say we're getting better at these early starts. First order of business is getting to the next town called Oyan through the Huayhuash National Park. So there should be really great views, but we're getting really low on fuel, so we need to get there and fill up. And then we are embarking on a route that doesn't even show up on Google Maps. So we'll see how it goes, but we have it mapped on Gaia and it looks spectacular. And yeah, today should be a long drive day. We're not really sure how far we'll get, but we're gonna just try and go for as long as we can, or until we find the most magical campsite ever.
And I should note that what we had hoped would be pavement has been gravel. So we thought we were gonna get to the 110 out to Oyan and it would be pavement, tarmac, and it's not, it's gravel. So I'm thinking that we're probably gonna be driving like well over 60 to 70% gravel all the way to Pisco, where this travel week kind of ends. That's pretty crazy. There's a lot of gravel in this country. I mean, it's awesome, but the potholes aren't. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Let's go.
Our next day of travel as we pass through the Huayhuash National Park would, like days before had also done, leave us wordless, starry-eyed, and astonished. How does it keep on getting better? This we have not yet figured out.
Is it cold, honey?
Glacial! Not much.
That right there is some very, very intensely cold water. All right, let's get the oil on.
Jesus.
Well, we've made it to Oyan. We've fueled up. It only took us like 4 hours to get here, 3.5 hours to get here for like 60 kilometers. I mean, we did a lot of video and a lot of photos and a lot of viewing and stopping and stuff, but
Google had us for 1.5 hours.
yeah.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah,
So double it is the policy.
for us anyway. So now we are on to the next leg of this day of driving, which takes us on a route that
Is only suitable for 4x4s.
and
Classic.
yeah, no one goes on it apparently. So
There's iOverlander. It seems like more of a cycler's route and a 4x4 route.
we'll see what we can find. Let's go.
This next segment of our trip through the mountains, we were really going in blind. Like Meg had mentioned, this road doesn't show up on Google, not really even on iOverlander, and the only reason I found it was by scouring Gaia Maps. At this point, all we know is that the road connects. Now we'll go and see if we can drive it.
Just rather not get a flag going over this little bridge. Could have gone through there.
As we climbed, it quickly became apparent that this section would be a little bit more challenging than the roads we had been traveling. Had we a four-wheel drive vehicle or even a transfer case in our van, I'd likely think very little of this narrow track through this mountain pass. But as we climb towards 4,800 meters and the rocks get bigger and the grade steepens a little, we have to admit to ourselves that we may be forced to turn around. These kinds of elevations leave the van with very little power to pull its heavy bulk around, and it doesn't take much to get us stopped in our tracks. With a quick scout of the road ahead, I'm more or less confident that we can make it at least the next couple kilometers.
Okay, so this route is like kind of deemed a 4x4 route. It can definitely be driven with a two-wheel drive like our van. It's just, it gets up to like 4,800 meters on the pass, and
Betty's a heavy beast.
she's a heavy girl, so we're gonna see how far we can go. I think there's this next section which has got a switchback and then a shelf road, and then it looks like it evens out up there, and it looks also like there's a storm coming in, and I don't want to drive over the pass in a storm, so maybe we'll camp just a little bit further up and then see what it looks like tomorrow morning. Yeah, so well, I guess it's official. It's not an off-road route anymore. Well, should we get after it and see if we can make this pass?
I guess so.
Let's do it.
We're good.
Bye, guys.
Latin America never fails to put you in your place. It is always a remote beach, a high mountain pass, or a seemingly challenging off-road route that you'll come across a local farmer or a mother and father with a family of kids in the most unlikely vehicle bumping down the road on their daily commute or on their way to enjoy a nice afternoon. We still never cease to be humbled by where folks out here will take a car that most North Americans would deem incapable of being there.
storm's coming in.
Alright, so today we're driving this road all the way. Then you can see some switchbacks up there. Gotta climb those and over. So one of the issues that we've been having, and I mentioned it in the last video, is really high coolant temperatures, and we've just been battling to keep the radiator full because we keep on boiling all of the coolant or water out, and I've resorted to putting the cleanest river water I can find into the radiator because we've run out of the coolant that we carry with us. And the reason being, and a lot of people like don't see this coming, and admittedly, there's a bit of a caveat. We're a 9,000 pound van. We're like a few hundred pounds over GVW with a 4.8 liter climbing, you know, around 14 to 15,000 feet. But a lot of people don't recognize the fact that when you're at high elevation like this and the air thins out, it carries heat away from the radiator way slower. And also, our fan clutch doesn't kick on until like, you know, we're basically overheating. So with these really slow climbs and like no air really passing through the radiator, we're getting to the top of some of these climbs and the coolant is just boiling like crazy. And yeah, I'm just like constantly refilling the radiator. It's wild. So consider yourself updated with that one. All right, well, let's go do this pass back up to 4,800 meters. On an off-road route.
Yeah, let's do it.
The final few kilometers hold within them the moment of truth, the answer to whether or not we can complete this route and pass through the mountains the foothills beyond. We're both apprehensive, a little nervous, but trying to remain optimistic.
crux of all cruxes. Really hopeful we don't get turned around here.
full throttle, maybe 70 horsepower, couldn't get the 9,000-pound bulk of our home on wheels past this slightly steeper section. You can hear the radiator crackling as the already low water boils within it. I have to reverse about half a kilometer to get back to somewhere that I can start off from again to see if I can gather enough speed to carry us up.
So, I've gotten out of the van. I'm walking up the hill. I was not asked to film this, but I figure every pound counts. So if I can make the van 150 pounds lighter to get up and over this pass, I will.
It's taken me a few minutes to back my way down the narrow shelf road far enough that I might be able to gain enough momentum to carry us through where we got stopped. I'm going to have to go foot to the floor and attempt to navigate the corners at speed. Even though I literally have my foot on the floor, the van only manages to gather about 30 kilometers per hour before its remaining and meager 70 horsepower can't push it to gain any more speed. As soon as I hit the first steeper section, I can feel all of the van's momentum get sapped away. By the time I've reached Meg, the van is crawling. Soon after, I'm right back where we were stopped, and we've only gained a foot or two more, despite all of the effort.
Alright, we're stuck and looking for something to winch off of. Nothing really. Always an adventure in a super heavy two-wheel drive van. At least the scenery is nice.
Again,
Workout.
never thought we'd be using this winch as much as we do.
We actually don't use it to get unstuck. We use it to pull us up hills. My thoughts are that the van is just going to yank that rock right out of the hillside in 1 second.
Overlap by a foot.
Do you need to get in the car and put your foot on the gas? And that is the rock out of the ground.
We winched to the boulder that we initially deemed too close. Getting slightly further up the hill might give us a chance to get the wheels on a lesser grade, but it does little to no good. We still need the winch if we're going to make it any further.
Well, is this when we give up? It's not?
Well, you saw the way that like even though the rock was being pulled, we were still being pulled forward.
Yeah.
So if we can get enough weight off of those, we have a shot.
Oh my god. Okay, so are we doing like a big, huge rock piling effort? I'm just along for the ride at this point. I have no clue when we give up. If it were me, I would have just backed down the hill and turned around when we got here. But yeah, this is Alex's idea of fun.
It's my thought at this point that if we get enough weight on top and around the rock we first attempted to winch from, we might be able to create just enough drag to half pull us far enough to where the van can get a little bit of purchase. So we spend the next 10 minutes stacking rocks, then sling our strap around and give it a try.
What are the chances this measly stack of rocks does the job?
Let's find out.
I say
50-50.
10%. Come on. It's okay if it moves.
And it looks as though our efforts have actually made a difference. Although we're pulling the rock stack towards us, we're moving uphill at a quicker rate. As I like to say, it ain't much, but it's honest work.
Let's go.
With one more winch to another boulder just over the edge, we've made it to a patch of road where the van can get a rolling start. It's no drag race start, but Betty is off and she's gathering just enough momentum that she ain't gonna stop.
Well, it seems like Alex's perseverance paid off. Wow. I think maybe we were there for like, I don't know, an hour and a half? Something like that. Maybe an hour, maybe two. What was that?
I think we got it from here. Need more switch back.
Way to go, hon. I think we'll keep all the winch stuff out just in case though. I feel like I used to complain about running around with the camera and like hiking up hills when we were down at sea level. It's a whole other thing at 4,800 meters, let me tell ya. Who needs a hike?
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this. She's crawling. I think she's got it.
Yeah, I think she's got it too.
Shit, do we still have to keep going higher? Dang, son.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. No. Well, there's a lot of big rocks. You must not be that worried about the transmission, eh?
Well, I think it's staying cool now, but...
Come on. Go. Oh. I hate this. No? She's so creeping. Oh my god. What?
I cannot believe we just made it back.
I should have got out. I should have jumped out. Okay. This must be the top. Surely.
And with that final corner, we'd made the summit. 4,825 meters on a rough gravel track through the mountains. Never did we think we'd be pushing this old contractor van to these limits, but here we are.
We made it to the summit. Betty's overheating.
She's overheating
Worse,
real bad.
worse than she has in our care together. I've had her overheat like this before, but what is she at?
She's at 110 right now.
110
That's Celsius.
Celsius. Yeah, that's not very small. And that is the over expansion tank, absolutely full. 4825. The big girl does a 4x4 off-road summit. Wow. That's insane.
Well, it looks like our overheating issue is sorted. We just boiled all the coolant out, or no, there was an air bubble in there, and it was forcing all the coolant into the expansion tank. So we've got that sorted. We're just gonna grab some lunch and then head down. It's been one heck of a day of adventure.
After lunch and half an hour of waiting for the temperature to come down, we were moving forward once again, down the other side and into the realm of llama, alpaca, and vicuña ranchers.
Go overlanding, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Then they went to Peru and hit every single friggin' speed pothole in the road. I'm done. I want to sleep now.
His tummy hurts from the potholes. I've never heard of that as a side effect of potholes.
Just twisting my stomach. Well, to make it 40.52 kilometers today, it took us 5 hours. You think that's real funny, don't you?
That's so terrible. Oh God. My sprouts have been on this 4-wheel drive mission too. I don't like that.
Another fitful night's sleep later, we were ready to once again drive on some smooth tarmac. But between where we were and where that sweet, sweet tarmac lay was a long stretch of potholes, more gates, and plenty of gravel.
So babe, what are your thoughts on yesterday's route?
It was an adventure, that's for sure.
Yeah, a little bit more than we bargained for.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting it to go sideways at some point because obviously the van isn't built for this sort of stuff. But yeah, the winching was fun because it was an adventure. The potholes are not fun.
Yeah, we're done with the potholes for sure.
This day held for us a completely new challenge. A challenge that, surprisingly enough, considering all the distance that we've traveled, we've never had. Today, that will change. As we traversed the grasslands on our way to the highway, we spotted something that didn't seem to fit amidst the low hills. This is the Bosque de Piedra, or stone forest. The Bosque de Piedra de Huayhuash, near the town of Huayhuash in Peru's Pasco region, is a surreal forest not of trees, but of stone. Covering more than 6,800 hectares within the Huascarán National Sanctuary, this ancient landscape was sculpted by wind, rain, and ice over millions of years into towering rock formations that resemble animals, people, and mythical figures. Sitting at over 4,000 meters above sea level, the stone forest feels otherworldly, its silence broken only by the wind across the Puna grasslands. It's both a geological wonder and a sacred site, where local legends and natural history intertwine beneath the wide Andean sky.
Holy smokes. It's tarmac. I cannot believe it.
Do you need to air up?
I think we need to air up.
For the first time in almost a month, we sped down the highway exceeding rocket-fast speeds of up to 70 kilometers an hour. But our little joyride down the smooth road wouldn't last for much longer.
Okay, so we've overheated again, and I'm pretty certain at this point that we have a hole in the radiator, and that hole was made by the smaller cooler that I had. I installed it with the stupid plastic things that actually go through the radiator, and over time it wiggled, and I'm pretty sure opened up a hole, and so we're drawing air into the system, it's creating bubbles, and we're getting airlocks, and we just keep on overheating. So we Googled a quick fix because we're nowhere near anywhere that has stop leak or even a radiator shop, and apparently ground ginger will work. So, and apparently it's safe for GM and Chrysler radiators that are aluminum. So we're gonna put a few tablespoons of, or teaspoons of ground ginger into our system.
Do you know what a teaspoon is, hon?
Is that?
It's a little bigger than a teaspoon, so if you put all that in, it's probably good.
Okay. Well. All right, so
the kitchen comes to the rescue, hopefully.
Yeah, we're learning all kinds of new overland things about how to fix stuff.
I always knew my spices would come in handy in more ways than in the kitchen and for our health.
Yep, overheated again. Well, maybe a kilometer down the road we overheated again. So it's pretty evident that I didn't get all the air out of the system. I'm gonna try burping it one more time. And I think if we don't have success with getting the air out of the system, we might try and just limp the van to Lima and pull the radiator and get it completely fixed so that we don't have to deal with this anymore. So, might have to be making a hard decision pretty soon.
Okay, so we're getting a tow.
Yeah, and we're putting this 4-ton van on the back of that. That is no more than 5 tons. This is not my favorite thing to do. This is like really not cool from a towing perspective. I used to tow vehicles on a flatbed, and this is just going to be downright scary. Thank heavens we're only going uphill.
At this point, we're only about halfway through our chosen route to reach Paracas on the coast. It was certainly not our intention to be loading the van up onto a flatbed. After reaching the town of Huayhuash, we stopped to purchase coolant and consult a mechanic to see if there was a radiator repair shop in town. The mechanic told us there were no radiator shops nearby and that our best bet was to go to Lima. He also informed us of the very large climb out of town to get to the coast. He shortly after suggested taking the van via flatbed to the summit, at which point we could coast all the way to Peru's capital. After an attempt at climbing out of town and then shortly after overheating, we decided to return and get the tow. I wasn't particularly thrilled about putting our 4-ton van on the back of a 4-ton flatbed. You'd normally put a van our size on something considerably bigger, but sometimes you have to relinquish control over a situation and just go with the flow.
It doesn't look totally sketchy at all. Alright, here we go.
This is nice.
Listos.
Then off we went, climbing from Huayhuash to the pass at 4,683 meters. We quickly settled into the drive. Carlos was a talkative driver, but also competent. He drove us slowly up and slowly down the hills with absolute consideration of the top heavy load on the back of the truck. Situations like this are definitely ones we often dread and quickly build up in our minds, but I find when it comes time to deal with them, it all narrows down into the methodical process of one step in front of the other. Meg and I worked together flawlessly in this challenging scenario. Between my understanding of our mechanical situation and her more developed translation skills, we managed to make a decision, find what we needed, and work our way towards a solution. From there, we had nothing else to do but look out the window, chat with Carlos, and enjoy the ride. From the top of the pass, we coasted all the way to the city of Lima at sea level, over 4,600 meters or 15,000 feet in descent. We'd met a gentleman in Huaraz a couple weeks ago while hiking. He had offered us his contact information in case we needed any help with anything. When we made the call as we approached Lima, he was more than happy to help and located a place for us to stay and someone to aid us in finding a mechanic who would repair the radiator. Traveling has a unique way of opening you up to challenging situations and totally unforeseen solutions.
Well, we made it to Lima, a city we did not intend to go to, and we're driving straight to the center of Lima and find a radiator repair shop tomorrow. So here we are. Yeah, it's just a continued adventure.
Rolling through downtown Lima was a total culture shock. After nearly a month of spending all of our time in the mountains, exclusively passing through towns with populations well under 10,000 people, being in a city of over 11 million people hit us like a cup of cold water in a hot shower. It was jolting and not particularly pleasant, but also quite eye-opening.
We've made it to camp, which is in the middle of the industrial sector in Lima, Peru. Oh boy, this is just getting better and better every single minute. Well, as you can see, we've got the radiator out. We're out here in the middle of Lima in a van with no radiator. And looks like there's some very notable damage on the back. but I'm pretty sure that there's a pinhole or something that we need to get fixed. Hopefully it's an easy fix. And yeah, so hopefully by the end of the day we'll be onwards and southwards. I think that's the end of our adventure for now. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Hey there friends, we're just putting this at the end of the video as a little informational bit. If you're not interested in exactly what happened to the radiator, how it was solved, and the things we found out from that experience, then you can turn off the video now. But if you are interested, continue watching.
We'll try and keep this short.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys know the whole story of how we got to Lima. Today I pulled out the radiator and we brought it into a shop. After getting it tested, realized that there's absolutely nothing wrong with the radiator. There's no hole in it or anything like that. I suspected I made a hole in the radiator when I had the trans oil cooler mounted on it, and I wrecked some fins, and I figured that I must have punctured it somehow. That is not the case. Of course, if you have a perfectly good radiator and you're losing coolant at a quick level, that is usually grounds for a suspect head gasket
Or water pump.
But we went through pretty much all of the telltale signs of those two things, and none of it. Like, we're not burning coolant, we don't have exhaust in the coolant, we don't have milky oil, all of the things.
And the van performs fine at sea level.
Yeah. So what we are learning in the laundry list of things that we are learning about how elevation affects vehicles is there's 3 or 4 things that are very important. So for a while now, on really steep climbs, and I'm going to back up a second, this is really important for those folks that are going to be doing the Pan Am with a heavy vehicle and staying in the mountains.
And not good enough gearing, not low enough gearing.
But also for anyone staying in the mountains. What is crazy is that everywhere that we have driven since entering into Colombia is unprecedented for North Americans, because nowhere in the United States or Canada can you drive above 13,000 feet. And we almost exclusively spend most of our time at 13,000 feet to 16,000 feet. Or like 3,000 meters to...
Over 10,000 feet, yeah.
So, elevation really affects vehicles a lot more than you'd ever think it does. So, I've explained before that because the air is so thin, it carries the heat away from your radiator slower. Because there's less oxygen in the air, your vehicle is working a lot harder. For Betty, that is tenfold, because she's overloaded with a smaller engine and undergeared. And then at higher elevation, the boiling point of your coolant is actually down by 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. So our coolant was boiling at 95 degrees, sometimes 95 degrees mainly. So what was happening is, over the last, I would say, month or so, pretty much since Chimborazo in Ecuador, our coolant was starting to boil at really high elevations, and that was usually above 4,000 meters, so like 13,000 feet, maybe something around there. And I was just topping it up with coolant, but quite often we would get to the top of long climbs, coolant would be boiling, I would check to make sure it was fine, I would top it up, no big deal. But I think what happened is, over time, we were letting little bits of air in there, and especially when we left Huaraz, started doing those really long climbs that were all well above 4,000 meters, we were finding our coolant was boiling quite a bit. And on this long off-road route...
And we were losing more and more
Yeah.
as the days went on. It was like, oh geez, another gallon of coolant is gone.
Yeah. And it was a result of these really slow roads where we were doing long climbs at a very, very slow speed. And on the off-road route that you just saw, going from Huaraz to Huayhuash,
Oyan to Huayhuash?
no, it was Huaraz, because 1251, the 1251, that was all slow climbing. We had boiling coolant there. We exhausted all of the coolant that we carried, and so I had to start using river water. And I believe this is true, you can fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that actual coolant has a higher boiling point. And so when we started to thin out that coolant with river water, our boiling point went even lower. And yeah, so that just continued, but then we got more and more air into the system, and we created a very big airlock eventually. For some reason, after we finished that big pass, we were able to drive slowly to the little town. I forget the name of it, something Bamba. At the highway, somehow, right after we got onto the highway,
Because we had to go faster
yeah, I mean,
on the pavement.
yeah, the engine was creating more heat, but there's less flow, but there's still like airflow through the radiator. I don't know how it all works, but we started overheating like crazy approaching Huayhuash. Yeah, so there's just the airlock in the system that I tried burping the system a couple times, apparently unsuccessfully, and yeah. I just wanted to share that with all of you because for us this has been a crazy long learning curve that we had no idea the effects of elevation on our vehicle. And I think it's really important for people to recognize that, because like we probably could have somehow saved ourselves or like a lot of headache and all of this learning curve had we ever driven on high elevation roads for long periods of time, but we never have because they don't exist in North America.
I think like we're an interesting case study because there's plenty of people driving the Pan Am in vehicles like ours or less capable, like more heavy vehicles than ours, but typically those folks aren't pushing it like we push it. And the only people that are doing these routes that we're doing are like 4x4, lighter, diesel, you name it, you know, like everything more capable than this big heavy two-wheel drive van on these off-road routes. So yeah, I think it's a unique situation, and the reason that we haven't heard of all these struggles is because there's just so few people doing exactly what we're doing, which probably isn't advisable.
Yeah.
If somebody buys Betty and does the Pan Am the opposite way, I'm guessing they're not going to do it the way we did it.
I'll have some things to tell them. Yeah. So we always want to be like transparent and try and help people in any way we can. And this is a piece of information that we are learning as we go. And
it's interesting to some of you, so
yeah,
hopefully.
I mean, totally. If you guys are invested in this journey, and
don't drive the Pan Am in a two-wheel drive 9,000-pound van if you plan to do crazy off-roading.
Yeah, that's the easy lesson. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys appreciated that little tidbit of information. If you're planning on doing the Pan Am, maybe this will help you decide on a vehicle, or maybe help you make the decision to shave a few pounds off your vehicle, or put a transfer case in it, or buy diesel, or I don't know, any number of solutions. Yeah, so we're hoping that from here on out we'll have no further issues, but we are going back to elevation after we do a little bit of traveling along the coast of Peru.
Yeah, once we get to elevation though, I think the ups and downs and the terrain is going to even out.
Yeah, we're going to be climbing up to the Altiplano after we explore some of the Peruvian coast, and after that I believe that the hills and stuff get a lot less steep, less slow. Alright guys,
Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Said that already. Okay, bye.
Thank you for being here along with us on this journey. We hope in some way we sparked your curiosity. Maybe you even learned something. At the very least, we hope we showed you a world worth exploring, worth protecting, and valuing. Now, get out and go on that next big adventure. Make the memories that stick with you, shape you, and change you. Until the next one, keep on roaming. If you would like to see behind the scenes content, get route and camp spot information, or if you'd just like to help support us by putting some gas in our tank each month, you can contribute on Patreon or through memberships on our YouTube channel. And oh hey there bud, before you go, don't forget to go on over to slowroamers.com to get yourself some rad Slow Roamers merch. We've even got some new stickers and stuff in there for you. For additional photos and commentary on our journey, you can follow along on Facebook and Instagram. Well, Peru, you sure got some high elevation, and it's kicking the butt of our van, that's for sure. But we love you. You got lots of adventure. See you next time. Bye.